Welcome to HamCram2018. You are about to embark on a groundbreaking journey into the world of amateur radio. This class is designed to acquire your technical class license. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Sponsored by PittsField Community TV.
And welcome back to HamCram2018. Now it's time to talk to outer space. From the looks of this building today, that's what we're doing. What a thrill on your small handheld. What a thrill to talk on your small handheld to an astronaut. Happens a lot, and any amateur holding a technician or higher class license may make contact with an amateur station on the International Space Station using 2 meter 70 centimeter band. Also the ham radio satellites, and there's a ton of them out there. Amateur satellites are not geostationary, but rather in LEO. What's LEO stand for? Low Earth Orbit. This reduces the amount of power we need to hear our own signals coming from the satellite. Some orbits are elliptical, and as long as you and the other station can both see the satellite, you're on the air. You usually track them. There's free satellite tracking programs on your computers, iPads, that you can actually track it when it comes over. The Kepler elements is data inputted into the satellite tracking program. The satellite tracking programs tell you everything about the satellite, including the map showing the real-time position of the satellite track over the Earth, the time, azimuth, elevation of the start, maximum altitude, and end of the pass. And that's all in your satellite tracking program. Just put in your location. It'll tell you the pass, when the closest pass is to you. The apparent frequency of the satellite transmission, including the effects of Doppler shift. Varying levels of computer control are used by satellite enthusiasts, from merely informing the operator where to generally aim a handheld Yagi antenna to fully controlling all the steering. And here's typical pass. Passes only last a few minutes. And if you get into the satellite, it's pretty much your call sign and grid that you'll be giving up. The satellite beacon is a transmission from a space station that contains information about the satellite. It is a continuous faint signal that carries digitalized information about the satellite itself in orbit. As you're listening to an FM or single sideband satellite downlink signal, it will rapidly rise and fall in signal strength. This is called spin fading, and it is caused by the rotation of the satellite and its antennas. And here you got somebody setting up their homebrew Yagi. I actually built one from coat hangers and talked to SO59 and made a couple of contacts last summer. Ham satellite operators are constantly turning the dial as the satellite passes overhead to make up for the Doppler shift. Doppler shift in regards to satellite communications is described as an observed change in signal frequency caused by relative motion between the satellite and the Earth station. When you put in your downlink, because you have an uplink and a downlink, uplink on 440, downlink on 2 meters, there's like 5 frequencies you have to put in, and you have to keep turning, because as the satellite passes with the Doppler shift, it'll fade off one frequency and come back up on another. Makes it more fun. As the satellite is headed towards you, the received signal appears a few kilohertz high. As it passes overhead, the signal is right where it should be, and as it moves away from you, the signal will be several kilohertz lower. Think of a car horn as it passes you. When a satellite is operating in UV mode, means UHF, VHF, it means that the satellite uplink is on the 70 centimeter band for 40 megahertz, and the downlink is the 2 meter band. Full duplex dual band radio will give you the best access to those UV satellites on FM. SO59 is not on there, but SO59 is a nice one to hit. It doesn't pass over too often. When setting your transmitter power on the uplink frequency of an amateur satellite or space station, you should always use the maximum amount of power needed to complete the contact. It's always best to run the minimum amount of power needed. Minimum amount. through the satellite so you don't overload the satellite onboard electronics with too strong of a signal. We can operate digital communications through satellites and through the International Space Station. FM packet is the most commonly used method of sending signals to and from a digital satellite. It is fun to receive FM packet transmissions from other hams, as usually stored and forwarded via the satellite or space station. They're also doing SSTV now too. The way we determine the operating parameters of a distant ham satellite or a mountaintop ham radio repeater and weather station is through telemetry. The FCC defines telemetry as a one-way transmission of measurements at a distance from the measuring instrument. We can just walk up to a satellite and flip a switch, so we use telecommands to control those distant satellites and repeaters. Telecommand is defined as a one-way transmission to initiate, modify, or terminate functions of a device at a distance. Quick one, eh? Let's go to the question pool. Which amateur stations may make contact with an amateur station on the International Space Station using 2-meter and 70-centimeter amateur radio frequencies? B is right. What do the initials LEO tell you about an amateur satellite?
C.
We agree on C. Which of the following are provided by satellite tracking programs?
B.
Does everybody say? Everybody say B? B, yeah, it gives you everything on the satellite tracking programs. Which of the following are inputs to a satellite tracking program? We have a B and a D. When we say B, it's B, the Kepler elements, which you can get from the ARRL.
Just remember that fancy word, preparing.
What is a satellite beacon? We all in agreement for D? Very good. What causes spin fading when referring to satellite signals?
B.
We all agree? Very good. With regard to the satellite communications, what is Doppler shift? We all agree? Is it C? Yes, it is. What is it meant by the statement that a satellite is operating in UV? What do we say? B? B? D? B? B it is. You guys are good. How much transmitter power should be used on the uplink frequency of an amateur satellite or space station?
B.
Catching on. What is a commonly used method of sending signals to and from a digital satellite? C. Very good. What is the FCC Part 97 definition of telemetry? Y'all say C? Yeah, very. You guys are good. Making me look good up here. What is the FCC Part 97 definition of telecommand?
C.
Look, I can't even get the question out. They got the answer. And something went off the... Oh, we're done with that slide. Okay, we can reset. Okay. You.
Welcome back, Butterbur.
We good to go? All right, welcome back. My name is Sean, KD2NEL. I'm a general license, and we're going to be talking a little bit about digital modes. So digital modes are through a computer. We use good old-fashioned international Morse code when sending CW on the ham bands. You may use a straight key or an automatic keyer. This would be an example of a mode that you can use with a computer. They do make decoders and senders. They also make automatic keyers, or you can go the manual method, which I quite enjoy it actually. It was either a straight key or a paddle. Gentleman that wrote the slides, I like straight key because it helps me form good dits and DAWs as I'm learning to send Morse code and CWs. So when you're learning CW, direct your brain to your hand versus trying to hear it when you're doing an iambic paddle. It can be just a little easier to get the feel for it with a straight key, a little more natural. If you decide to do some CW, it's awesome. I think it's really fun. Every ham knows CW, even though it's no longer a part of the test. You can do a straight key or electronic keyer. You can also generate CW with a computer. Don't expect the computer to be able to read CW as well as your brain. I've experienced that a little bit, especially when I was learning. The computer can't always recognize human error, which can really throw it off. So the difference between an A and a G is just a DA, and if the computer misses that one DA in the middle of them, it's going to read it as an A. New tech operators start out on the air exclusively with their computers and a small transceiver. Now, you don't need much power for digital modes, maybe 15, 25 watts. There are higher power modes that you can use. A handheld could allow packet communications similar to short text messaging, but on ham channels. A larger multi-mode base station tied into your computer's sound card could lead to exciting PSK31 and worldwide data communications. PSK31 is really cool. So is the 10-meter band. And for those of you who enjoy bouncing signals off the moon and meteors, MFSK is a fabulous digital UHF, read that backwards, VHF UHF mode, where your computer does all the work sorting out the signals and your noise. MFSK packet and PSK31 data modes let your laptop and home computer do all the signaling digitally. You kind of nudge it along, essentially. So this would be an example of how to connect your computer to a radio using packet. Some newer transceivers actually have USB sound cards built into them, so you don't have to buy too much else unless you want to use your AFSK mode instead of FSK. Ooh. Between your handheld or mobile radio and the computer is a device called a terminal node controller, abbreviated TNC. Some mobile and handheld radios already have it built in. Your little handheld plugs into the node controller, and the TNC hooks up to your mobile device or laptop for text messaging. Packet radio can be used for many important purposes in ham radio. An emergency responder bulletin board, packet cluster reports on noteworthy long-range stations showing up on the radio dial, wireless messaging, my favorite, automatic position reporting system, which is really cool, especially if you're mobile. Packet bursts send out my latitude and longitude to other stations, some of which are digipeaters that will relay my position on the internet for everyone, licensed or not, to see where I am. Additional features of APRS using packet include remote weather station monitoring, short text messages, emergency alert, tie into the vehicle navigation device so you can see where other APRS users are. And to do this, you will need a GPS receiver outputting NMEA 0183 data and a simple APRS terminal node controller, with some of them already built into ham radio equipment. And that would be an example of Kenwood's handheld, I can't remember the name of their digital mode system, but that will do packet radio. Ham radios and computers are made for each other. If your laptop or home computer has a built-in sound card or USB port, you can see what is sent via digital modes like CW, PSK31, radio teleprinter, and nearly a dozen other digital modes, most of which sound like hash to your ear. They sound like alien noises. www.westmountainradio.com is a good site to visit to see if the multi-ring interface equipment that goes between your ham gear and computer. Let your laptop sound card with appropriate software do the decoding of digital messages. Get your computer ready for some technician class fun. Packet radio is a great way to send blocks of information quickly over the airwaves. Your packet will contain a header with the call sign of your station you wish to reach, and several steps of error detection and error repeat requests. So all of these features are included when you send packet radio. ARQ stands for Automatic Repeat Request, a system that lets your digital station automatically ask the other station to say again, or a missed set of characters. The early, commonly used ARQ system in amateur radio was the largely defunct AMTOR system. The commercial version of AMTOR, SITOR, is still used in the high seas for third-party radio traffic, as well as weather bulletins. PACTOR has hardly supplemented AMTOR because it has a full ASCII character set, whereas AMTOR only had uppercase letters. PACTOR and similar systems are capable of operating in the ARQ mode or the FEC forward error correction mode, depending on whether or not they are engaged primarily in two-way or one-way broadcast communications. You're going to have a blast sending data with your laptop and your ham set. It's so cool. You can talk to so many stations. When conditions are good, data exchanges are letter number perfect. However, when multipath signals add and subtract your signal, the error rates are likely to increase. Since the earliest days of data communications, which includes Morse code, hams have experimented with such methods as diversity reception using multiple antennas and receivers to reduce multipath problems. Want to look at a GPS map and see where other ham stations are located around you? That the packet reporting system can do that for you, the APRS. It's an extension of a classic amateur packet technology. This is what I was talking about in your car. It is an application level protocol that rides on top of the lower layers of packet technology. Therefore, any packet TNC can be used to transport APRS data. Now that GPS equipment is sized down to fit into a cell phone, the ham radio with a built-in terminal node controller for APRS allows you to automatically send your latitude and longitude position packets every couple of minutes with nothing more than a little VHF handheld and a postage stamp sized GPS receiver. A lot of new radios have a GPS plug on them. Some scanners even allow you to use GPS. The output of your GPS receiver is an NMEA 0183 format that will connect to the terminal node controller that is either built in or external on your handheld or mobile radio. PSK stands for phase shift keying, and if you listen carefully, the little warble is indeed information passing over an ultra narrow carrier. I don't have the CD for you. Down on the 10-meter band on multi-mode radio, you may hear the sound of a constant whistle. If you listen carefully, you might even hear a slight warble. It doesn't sound like an RTTY dither, it's very distinctive. That warble is conveying information on a continuous character called PSK31. PSK31 is a remarkable digital mode that slices through interference and gets the message across. Sometimes from here to the moon and back again, which is awesome. While the transmission rate is about normal typing speed, because you can type or you can use preset macros, it's plenty fast enough to converse with other hams with your computer, multi-mode radio, and most any of the technician authorized frequencies.
PSK means phase shift keying, right?
Yeah. Hundreds of ham operators throughout the world have tied their home computers and ham sets to the internet. The systems are called WinLink 2000, EchoLink, and IRLP. These free gateway stations are fully automated to provide ham radio operators access to the internet for sending and receiving emails. VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, is a rather simple gateway methods between amateur radio and the commercial internet. The IRLP uses VoIP to connect repeaters, allowing us to talk around the world on our little handheld radios. IRLP is fully open sourced as well developed on a Linux operating system. IRLP nodes are basically phone numbers, which access the node in question. DTMF signals sent from the keypad of your handheld or mobile microphone are the most practical way of accessing these nodes across boundaries between commercial and amateur communications networks. Although this is not the only conceivable way of doing this, the IRLP standard calls for using standard DTMF tones. One of the most amazing things about the TCP/IP protocol, around which the entire internet was kind of wrapped around, is how well it adapts to new technologies, not even remotely thought of when it was first put together. Voice over IP uses well-established TCP and IP packet switching to switch packets of voice over exactly the same hardware as everything else internet related.
You can even use your cell phone for echo link.
Yep.
Because of the fact that your nowadays cell phones go on to the internet themselves via their data.
And you can, if the repeater's up and running, you can access repeaters all over the world. But there's an app on your phone you could actually get and scroll through everything that's online. And if it's offline and you've saved the repeater in your favorites, you can look in through there and make sure that it's offline or online. It's pretty easy to use.
Not every repeater is
Correct.
hooked up to Echolink, right? It just, you have
Nope.
to test
Peter's actually.
Fewer than you think are hooked up to Echolink.
But some of them are hooked up but they have to get turned off. So it's not a yeah, Peter knows the situation with that.
Our
It's
K2ALB repeater, we turn on the Echolink once a month at the end of the month for the Capital District Traffic Net.
so
Other than that, and the node's at my house.
yeah. So is it really cool? Yes. Is it up all the time? Depends.
There are those that say, like the internet is not for amateur radio. It is. It's still.
We have a very long debate about that.
Yeah,
I have an
there's-
IRLP node at my house, and you have to go into it through a radio.
But-
And on the other end, on IRLP, you have to come out on the radio.
It's still a part of amateur radio. It's still.
I think more, it's the older hams versus the technology.
Yeah, I mean
It's a very hard line for a lot of older guys to say, give up my tubes for something sitting on that desk. And our last class was just like that. I forgot his call. Absolutely refused digital. He hated blah, 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 blah. He came to the class. At the end, I get a phone call. All right, you converted me.
I
No.
was at a forum in a Burlington Ham convention, and the instructor in the forum asked, "Anybody out here worked all day in you?" And I said, "Does the internet count?" And he didn't like that answer.
no, they'll especially
It's still a part of amateur radio.
it is. You'll find a lot of debates online.
Oh, we
If
have a
you
debate here this afternoon, trust me.
like I've done a lot of digital. I've done digital on HF. I just kind of gravitated towards sideband and CW, and I just kind of continued doing what I like. So if you like doing digital and you're enjoying yourself, go for it. No, why not? There's all kinds of modes. There's modes for everybody. So your best source for a list of voice over internet protocol is a repeater directory. You can find one on the internet. Repeaterbook.com is awesome. I use it when I go on road trips. Most new handhelds have a minimum of 9 programmable memories for speed dial number sending. Store your favorite IRLP nodes in your radio speed dial, and you won't need to remember all of the node numbers and manually tap them in on the keypad, similar to the memory mode on your...
Right. If you go to the ARR website, they have a repeater book they put out every year. They update it.
That's probably the most reliable. It's not always the most continuously updated, but most of the repeaters in there are.
Repeater book's not that continually updated. Why? Because our new club repeater's not in there yet.
No, it's not. I noticed that.
And I put the request in like 3 months ago.
Let's see. Here in the U.S., the NTSC is a standard for fast scan color television signals for analog ham radio ATV stations. TV broadcasters have made the switch to all digital, so hams are the last ones to stick with the tired and proven NTSC analog transmission. FYI, NTSC stands for National Television System Committee. A fascinating type of ham radio operation is called fast scan television, abbreviated ATV. Hams can send fast scan television pictures or direct or through special fast scan television repeaters over hundreds of miles. Fast scan television is very wide, about 6 megahertz, and can be found on 70 centimeter frequencies and higher where equipment cost is modest, especially if you own a video camera. 6 megahertz is extremely wide. That's, to put it into perspective, wider than the whole 6 meter band. Question pool. What code is used when sending CW in the amateur bands? C. C. Which of the following can be used to transmit CW in the amateur bands? Yes. I've talked to guys on keys, electronic keys, guys use keyboards, all kinds of, it's up to the station operator, just exactly how they want to send and whatever they prefer. Which of the following is an example of a digital communication method? D? E. Which of the following would be connected between a transceiver and computer in a packet radio station? BC. DNC. How is the computer sound card used when conducting digital communications using a computer? So your sound card from your computer would send it to the microphone input on your receiver, or your transceiver, pardon me. Your transceiver would then automatically key up when it hears the received audio. Which of the following may be included in packet transmissions? Okay, here D. Nope. What is an ARQ transmission system? So that is the one where if it transmits, it doesn't get all of it. It needs to send it again.
That's automatic retransmission request?
Yes. Yep. What may occur if data signals propagate over multiple paths? Go with D? Yes. Yep. So if it's reading 2 signals at once, it's probably not going to be very accurate. Which of the following is an application of APRS, Automatic Packet Reporting System? A. That's one driving around, updates it every once in a while, tells everybody else using the APRS system where you were when you checked in. What does APRS mean? It's Automatic Packet Reporting System.
That was a trick question.
That would be the Antarctica station.
The Antarctica.
Which of the following provides data to the transmitter when sending automatic position reports from a mobile amateur radio station? I heard D. Yes. What does PSK mean? Yes. What is PSK 31? D. So that is the very accurate super low wattage. That PSK 31 is very good at cutting through noise. What name is given to an amateur radio station that is used to connect other amateur stations to the internet? It's going to be a gateway station. What is the Internet Radio Linking Project, IRLP? So that's the use of the internet to connect radio systems, such as repeaters, using voice over internet protocol. So Echolink, modes like that use applications in the internet to gain access to an analog repeater. Or you can go the opposite. You can use the analog equipment routed through an Echolink repeater and go out over the digital side. So everybody can talk to everybody. How is access to an IRLP node accomplished? Using the DTMF signals. What is meant by voice over internet protocol as used in amateur radio? I think I heard D, yep. How might you obtain a list of active nodes that use VoIP? See? Yep. How do you select a specific IRLP node when using a portable transceiver? D. What type of transmission is indicated by the term NTSC? Yep, so when you see NTSC, I automatically think of the little logo that used to pop up in the corner of my public access TV as a kid, so I always think of just color TV. What is the typical bandwidth of analog fast scan? Yes, that's the big one. That is it. We will be right back.